Genshin Impact is getting fined. This could be the end, guys. This could be the end of the waifus. Not yet, but it's coming. So, Cognisphere, the developer behind popular game Genshin Impact, has agreed to a $20 million fine to settle charges brought by the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. FTC accused them of deceiving players with misleading probabilities for winning in-game items through loot boxes, of improperly collecting personal data from children without parental consent. As part of the settlement, this is the important part. This is the very important part. Listen to this. As part of the settlement, the company is also required to implement new measures preventing players under 16 from buying loot boxes without parental approval. Gentlemen, it may, in fact, be over. That's bad. That's really bad. This is so stupid. No, it's not. In my opinion, I think that any game that sells something with uncertain odds should be classified as gambling and should not be accessible in any capacity by a minor. It's that simple. This is fine. FIFA isn't. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Anyway, we'll get into it. FTC says Genshin Impact deceived children, teens, and other players into spending hundreds of dollars on prizes they stood little chance of winning. Let me tell you something. So true. Somebody at the FTC lost their 50-50. And now we're getting real change. That's right, gentlemen. It's happening. And so what really matters here, and so this is the following changes that have to happen to Genshin Impact. Let's take a look at it. Children under 16 will not be able to purchase loot boxes without parental consent. Massive. All loot boxes available for purchase with virtual currency will also be made available for direct purchase using real money. Wow. Loot box odds and exchange rates for multi-tiered virtual currency will have to be accurately disclosed and not misrepresented. Any personal information collected from players under the age of 13 will be deleted. This is a COPPA that's COPPA, which is 13 and below. You can't have their data. And regulations, including its notice to consent requirements, will be complied with. So there we go, gentlemen. Things are looking very bad for the waifu collectors. And the FTC, obviously, they haven't gone through a bunch of the other games. Now, what I find to be very frustrating about this is actually something that I saw a little bit ago, is that I think Genshin Impact is getting, they're getting a little bit of the short end of the stick. And this is kind of what's happened to TikTok as well. The deception Americans can't read. While I do think limiting purchases for children is a good thing, I feel this speaks more to a parenting issue. Also, we all know they're doing this because it's a Chinese game, because EA games are out there doing just fine. Why is it that FIFA can do this, but Genshin Impact can't? What's the problem here? How is this happening? Yeah, it's not a parenting issue. It absolutely is a parenting issue. If your kids are spending your money and you don't know what to do with your... If you can't control your kid using your credit card, you are a retarded fucking parent and you should have never had kids. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you're so fucking stupid. I am not, like... Of course these rules should be there. And yes, absolutely. Like, there's plenty of rules that you have to have because it's not okay for the companies to take advantage of kids that have bad parents. But it's also, I'm not going to just say that it's entirely the company's fault. Because if you're a bad parent and you're letting your kid do this, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to blame this on Genshin Impact, right? Kids steal credit cards. If your kid is stealing, I would not even dream in a million years of stealing my parents' credit cards. Like, that is an insane thing to do. And the kids that do that are probably, like, their parents are probably trash and garbage. And so it's a crime. Yes, exactly. And also they could immediately refund it too. So any game, so this is the policy that a lot of these video games have, is that they will refund purchases, but it will ban the account. So like they said, okay, well you can have your money back, but you're getting your account banned. So at that point, where's the problem? So now the parent is letting the kid spend the money, and they're not getting the refund because what? They don't want the kid to lose the account after they stole your fucking credit card to spend money on it? And I'm supposed to blame the company? Really? Like, I'm supposed to blame the company for this? Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Yeah, it's a perfect punishment. Yes, exactly. This is crazy. Don't you see an issue in then implementing age limitations on the internet? Identifying the age of minors means age and identity verification for all users, also adults. Also, no more anonymous gaming. There was never anonymous gaming when you're paying for something with a credit card. You give your information by paying for something because they check the information with the bank. There was never anonymous to begin with. What are you talking about anonymous? Anyway, yeah, that's already known, man. Anyway, what a dog shit chatter. Yeah, I see your point of view, and I think that you have, in abstract, you have a point of view. You have a good point, but that's not in this circumstance, right? That's it. That's what, what's this here? And that's what belts were invented for? No, I don't believe in hitting your kids. If you hit your kids, you're a retard. I also, you know, we haven't had this happen for a few days. So it's happening again. This will get you a permaban. I love Jadeon. I think he's great, but I don't want to be reminded every 3 seconds to watch his new video. I can't wait to watch it, though. It's going to be exciting. Please stop doing that. If you spam in my chat asking me to do the same things constantly, that's somebody you need the belt for, right? But if you hit your kids, you're a retard. That's the way I look at it. So it's that simple. Now, even spanking and hitting, there's no difference. And anyway, so let's go back and we're going to look at a few more things with this Genshin Impact topic and talk about it. So basically, Genshin Impact is getting regulated. This is something that is long overdue, okay? It's needed sometimes. Well, yeah, it's needed in the instances of parents being inadequate. No, you're right. There are times where parents are inadequate. They can't garner respect. They can't demand respect from their kid, and they have to hit their kid with threat of violence because they can't earn that respect themselves. No, it's very true. But, you know, it's still not defensible. It's absolutely not. Anyway, we can talk about this more. Anybody, by the way, if you're crying about it or whatever, there's a reason why corporal punishment and physical punishment is illegal for kids in a lot of places now, like, for example, Sweden. And so it's a good thing. And again, also one final thing about this topic. If you hit your kids, what you do is you teach them that conflict resolution, one way of conflict resolution is violence. I wonder if that's going to be useful for your kid growing up. I wonder. So yeah, great idea. Keep doing that. That way you can, I mean, we've got these minimum requirements for prisons. And so, I guess we should be saying thank you to all the parents that do that. Anyway, let's go back over. We'll look at the rest of it. And Genshin Impact fined $20 million for selling loot boxes to teens without parental approval. I hate it when gacha players say, oh, you don't have to spend any money, or this gacha game is different from other gachas. Like, yeah, sure, buddy, as if that's the only problem with these kinds of games. Well, listen, if you're playing a gacha game, you are signing up to be a dick eater. That's it. You are signing up to be a dick eater. That's all there is to it. I think that if you have kids getting involved with this stuff, that's a totally different topic. And I think it's a huge fucking problem. Because like, and this is a big issue, that the majority of games that are advertised to kids, or sorry, the majority of games that have loot boxes that are in like the Apple and like the Google Play Store, the majority of the ones that have loot boxes are accessible to children. And loot boxes do simulate gambling. They're not gambling, but they are close to gambling. And I think that they do simulate that experience. So, yeah. And does that mean that you're sponsored to be a chode eater? Yeah, sure. I mean, I can eat dicks for money. Sure, absolutely. Sometimes they taste good even. Yesterday, it was delicious. But the fact is that doesn't change the fact that I know what I'm eating. Yeah. I know what it is. I mean, these games are, this is the way these games are. That's how it always is. They're the gateway to gambling? Yeah, they're the gateway to gambling, the same that weed is a gateway to heroin. Oh, by the way, yesterday I saw a Fent zombie. You know, you don't see a lot of them in Austin, or at least like you haven't for a while. I was walking up to get some food, and he just shambled past me. He asked me if I had a lighter. And I was like, no, bro, I don't have a lighter. And then, you know, that was about it. The rare spawn, yeah, maybe there's more of them here. You don't go out there everywhere? Well, I usually don't see them a whole lot, right? To be honest, I usually leave my house twice a day. I would say like once a day in like a meaningful way to like drive more than like to the gas station. But yeah, I usually leave the house almost every day. So I don't know about that. Go walking? Yeah, I guess so. He probably thought you were one of them. Yeah, I guess so. And anyway, so this is what's happening, is that the FTC is going to be doing this, and I think it's going to keep happening, and it's going to be more and more common that more and more people that are involved in regulation will understand the way that these games are trying to target children. Because what's happening right now is that a lot of these companies, they're getting away with it because the regulatory forces don't understand the video games and they don't get what's going on. Because they're not playing the games, they don't understand it at all. Now they are, and here we go. So, this is at Skillish Mac. Yeah, do you think Valve will change? Valve will I have no idea. And so, and people are talking about this a lot. Not to defend a multi-billion-dollar company, but aren't the gacha mechanics explained in game? If you're allowing your kids to spend your money on a gacha game, then that's just bad parenting. I'm sorry. I think this guy is totally fucking right. So both things can be true. If your kids are taking your money and spending it without you knowing, you're a shitty parent, but they're also making a shitty game. So you don't need to decide one thing is right and one thing isn't right. They're both right and they're both dumb. That's it. Or it's a smart kid. No, it's not a smart kid. If you're getting outsmarted by your kid spending money in Genshin Impact, well, for one, if your kid was smart, they wouldn't be doing this in the first place, okay? So let's just get that right out of the way. Anyway, we'll look at a few more of these too. Yeah, kid, thanks. Yeah, let's be a little bit smarter about this, right? What a coincidence they're targeting a Chinese company and not going after the American gaming companies like Blizzard. Well, EA is the bad one because they're the ones that make FIFA. So FTC was looking at all these children. I was unable to get in the gacha. This is unacceptable. Yeah, sure. FTC, you stupid motherfuckers. They're not trying to appeal to children. They're trying to appeal to me. No, this is retarded. Games like Genshin Impact are absolutely targeted towards underage people. Like, I'm not saying that that's the only people that play it, or they're only allowing kids to play it, or even most people that play it are kids. But there is a big contingency of them that are kids, and to say otherwise is so fucking delusional, I can't even imagine it. How the fuck are you going to say that's not true? This is not about the children. They don't give a fuck about this. It's only about money. I think so, too. And anyway, so let's see over here. We'll look at a couple more of these. The U.S. is coming for every Chinese soft power win TikTok. Gaming, you name it. Yep, I think that's exactly it. I think that Genshin Impact is being targeted primarily because they are a Chinese company. And the fact is that FIFA, whatever Genshin Impact does, FIFA does it way worse and to a much higher degree. China's allowed to buy out American and Western-owned companies where the vice versa can't happen. That's something totally different. Like, we're talking about two separate things. Anyway, with this, I think it's a huge issue. Like, gacha games are a big issue. I think that it should be illegal to sell a item inside of a video game that you don't know what you're buying. Period. If you ever spend money on an outcome in a video game that is not certain, that should not be possible. It's just gambling. Well, yes, it is. It's functionally gambling. It's not the same as casino gambling, but it is gambling. That's such a retarded take. Why? Like, I mean, again, if you guys, if people disagree, that's fine, but you have to explain why. Saying you're wrong just gets you banned. There's gambling ads in the stadium where the children are. Yes, but the children are not able to actively go and gamble themselves. That's the difference. These games are accessible to children in a way that gambling on websites and gambling in casinos is not accessible. How much fault would you put in the company and the parents? I think that I don't think that you have to choose. I think that if your kids are getting addicted to gacha games and they're losing their money on gacha games, you failed as a parent and you're stupid. And you're an inadequate, dumb parent, and, you know, apparently that's genetic because you've got kids that are addicted to a gacha waifu selector, right? So there's definitely that. And then there's also the companies that are trying to farm these kids and trying to take advantage of them. And so I feel like and also, if you want to act like, oh, well, they're just trying to target kids, it's not that big of a deal. Look at this. So, China introduced rules on reducing spending inside of video games that primarily targeted children, and it caused Tencent, one of the biggest companies in the world, to lose over 10%. Some people are saying 12, some people are saying 16% of their stock. And they rolled it back because of how damaging it was. No way China targeting China? Yeah, but they rolled it back, though. That's the thing. And so for you to say that, like, it's very clear that they have a business model that's built around underage people spending money unknowingly without them understanding what they're doing. And I just wanted to show you, like, that's an example of, like, what happens. So I'll look at a few more of these, and it's almost like you guys forgot gacha is a game to create money. It's what a Jesus Christ, how stupid. Anyway, let's see if there's anything else that's interesting to look at about this. Dev screen, the FTC used Klee, Kwikwi, Chichi, Diona, and Paimon as reasons it's targeting children. It is. Like, Genshin Impact undeniably targets underage people. Like, it's undeniably targeted towards people that are underage. Like, if I saw a game like Genshin Impact, I would say that the target audience is 14. For sure. Like, how are we even talking about this? Absolutely, that's the case. It doesn't mean that adults don't play it too, but, like, the entire style of the game, the way that, like, the topics that are covered in the game, generally, like, with a lot of these gacha games, these are not, like, high-end topics, right? More like 16, 18. I'd say 14. But, you know, I guess it really depends. But anyway, the FTC is focusing on the wrong problem here. The truth is Genshin Impact deceived children, teams, and other players into playing Genshin Impact. Okay, there you go. I'm crying. Game literally puts the exact percentages for probability in obtaining characters on each banner. Gacha games are avaricious by nature, but this isn't deception. Cultivate better parenting practices if you want your children to not do stupid things. No way Genshin Impact made the US government actually do something good for the industry. Man. Hopefully this is what's next. This is what should be next. Can't this lead to trading cards being the same thing? I think that that's a logical interpretation, but I feel like you could... It's a lot easier to look at digital items because there's no logical reason why a digital item needs to be randomized, whereas there could be a logical reason why a physical item needs to be randomized. So with digital ownership is like, it's not real. Like, you don't digitally own anything, really. It's just like lines of code. And with a physical product, it's very different. So I think that you bring up a good point with things like, like trading cards. But I think it's focusing on the low-hanging fruit first, which is these online video games that simulate the same exact thing. Trading cards are a tangible object. They're a tangible object that you also own, right? Yeah, there we go. Gotchas to be banned after TikTok. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Probably not going to happen, but I just think it's really funny. EA generated $1.6 billion in revenue last year just from Ultimate Team modes. But hey guys, Genshin Impact is the problem. Keep that in mind, okay? You can prove there's X amount of Charizards in circulation too. Rates of gacha pulls are more mysterious. Yeah, and you can't reverse engineer them either. And you also don't have ownership of the character. So like when you... Like this is a big thing that a lot of people don't really understand. Is that when you buy something in a video game, you're buying a license to use that can be revoked at any reason at any time for any reason. So just because you spend money in a game and you have something doesn't mean that they can't just immediately take it away from you. So, like, you don't have any rights, you don't have any protections, and I think this is a big problem. What do you think of online card games like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel? I don't know, I'd have to think about that more. I don't know enough about Yu-Gi-Oh! To, like, really have an opinion on it. I'm just saying, like, with any of these games that you buy with uncertain outcomes, I think that it's a big problem. You own nothing in video games? Yeah, you basically do. That's exactly why I don't spend money on app games. You own nothing. Only U.S. companies should be able to steal money from Americans. When am I going to get a CSGO refund? Yeah, I don't know. And you sign away the rights at the start of the game, though? Yeah, but just because you... So, I don't agree with this idea that just because you can entice somebody to sign... So, a TOS is never legally binding. Like, you cannot make a TOS legally binding because you don't know who clicked the button and you don't know what influence they were under when they clicked the button. So, number one, you're not sure who actually signed it. Number two, the person could be drunk, which in some cases voids a contract because they're not actually of lucid mind whenever they decide to take on the contract. So, the idea that the TOS in any way voids any liability or accountability is ridiculous. It like immediately falls apart. TOS hopes you never take it to court. Yeah, court rules and the law automatically overrules the TOS. Like, the terms of service are just what they're going to do, but the law is what they have to do. Yeah, drunk doesn't violate TOS. Yes, but drunk violates accountability from signing TOS, which is what I said. The code is the law? Yeah. It's a little bit different. And it really depends. Yeah, always be drunk. There you go. That's the solution. So yeah, Genshin Impact is being regulated by the government. Hopefully this is the beginning of the end of all of these video games that are introducing pseudo-gambling mechanisms. Obviously, I play a lot of them. Some of them have great gameplay, and I enjoy them. But at the same time, I do think that they are... I would say that they are predatory because they target people who are underage. And they also do things that are uncertain. And I feel like all gambling is predatory to some degree. There's obviously a tier list to this, but they are on the list. So yeah, it's that simple. I'll read a few more comments about this and then we'll look at the next stuff. But yeah, FTC is regulating Genshin Impact. Oh boy. Do you think Genshin can sell waifus for $150 each? The statistical RNG price? Probably not, no. And the reason why they sell them at such small increments is because they, basically, the whole reason why they do it, why are virtual currencies created? They are created to obfuscate the amount of real money that you're spending. Like, in my opinion, I don't think that there should be every single purchase that you make inside of a video game should have to have its dollar or local currency amount right next to the amount of the currency that you're getting. So, like, for example, if it's like 50 crystals, it should have next to it 50 cents or 75 cents next to it. It should say USD, not fucking Primogem. Yeah. And if anything, it should have both of them. Is the WoW store okay over the line? Well, no, the WoW store does that, so it would be okay. The same reason casinos use chips, right? I don't know if that's the reason, but it probably is, yeah. This is the same reason the lottery tickets exist. Humans suck at estimating probability. Yep, look at parlays. I think that's the best example. It is? Yeah, I have no idea. How much is 50 cents in roaches? It's 3 roaches. This is why I was confused in PoE 2. Why do they have in-game coins if they're just 10x of the value? I have no idea. But I'm just saying, like, that's generally how I see it. So, yeah. Functionally makes no difference. Anyone who agrees with you just can't do mental math and is dumb. What? So, why do you think that the virtual currencies exist? So let's go ahead and get this. Let's get this sorted out. We got to figure out. We got to get to the bottom of this. So what do you think is going on with that? Why do you think that they have these currencies? They exist to make the game aesthetic and trick you. Okay, so if something exists, If something exists to mislead the customer into not understanding what they're buying, do you think that that should be legal? Because, like, I mean, if it exists to serve the purpose to mislead the customer, then why should you allow that to be in the economy? I don't understand this. Can you explain this? It's a scam. Yeah. They can also give free credits of their own currency a bit differently than direct money. Exactly. Well, that's how they obfuscate it even further. And that's how I think they need to have both of the amounts if they were to be purchased with real money. It's okay to mislead people, exploit dumb people? No, it's not. So this is the truth. When somebody stupid gets taken advantage of, I laugh at them and I don't care, but I still think that it shouldn't have happened. Does that make sense? So it's like, obviously this is like to some degree like natural selection, like, you know, you get what you deserve, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that it's okay for you to do that. Yeah, exploit the weak. Yeah, that definitely shouldn't happen, especially when it's people who are underage. It's slightly predatory, but saying it hides how much money you're spending is over the top. How does it not hide how much money you're spending? Because if you go to a store and it says that you're going to buy it for 980 Primo Gems and not $15, isn't that hiding the amount of money that you would spend? You know what I think is happening? I think this person's using things like they're saying, did you go blind and forget how much you spent on the buy screen? Yeah, so this is, again, you're insulting people's intelligence. You're saying that they're stupid, and because they're stupid, it's okay to take advantage of them. Well, it's okay to laugh at them being taken advantage of, I would say, but it's not okay to take advantage of them. Yeah, it's intentionally misleading. It's intentionally confusing. And that's it. Banned? Yeah, the guy was being rude. And so that's it. And was he being rude? Yeah, I think that he was. He was being rude and condescending. And not a fan of it. Didn't want to deal with it. It's that simple. You aren't thinking of conversion rates between different currencies around the world? Exactly. You're exactly right. You're 100% right about the conversion rates, which is why they need to have the local currency that's displayed right next to the currency amount inside of the game when you make any purchase in a video game. That's correct. I think you're totally right. It should be done with the localized currency as well. How can anyone be against what you're saying? Because they're blaming stupid people for being taken advantage of, and they think that that's okay because they're dumb. But yeah, anyway, FTC is hopefully going to do this more, and I think this is a huge fucking W. Massive fucking W. And hopefully we see more of this. I don't know if it will. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think it's a great thing.